Okay guys, I just wanted to follow up with some questions that I had from my last video, and that was what do we do now? Other than filing reports and doing all the things that we've already done and continue to do, and you should continue to do, what do we do now in our personal lives to position ourselves in a strong and with as high degree of survivability as possible? And the one thing that I can say that is absolutely imperative is radical acceptance. You're going to have to digest and accept that this is your life, this is what's happening, this is what has happened to you, and what is it that you can do now to mitigate and alleviate as much damage as possible that is being done without your consent. And that is taking anything and everything that can possibly be used against you, that can be weaponized against you, and removing that from your life. Everything that they do when you start feeling sick, when you start having issues and you start going to the doctor and you start trying to tell your story and doing it, what do? They automatically start putting you on all these drugs, giving you all these diagnoses and everything, and it's all bullshit. Every single bit of it. So as soon as I realized that the medical field was being used as a way to continue to target me and diminish not only my physical but my mental health, I completely eradicated every bit of that out of my life. And I'm not telling anybody to not take life-saving medications. There are life-saving medications out there, and there are medications that certain people need. So I'm not giving medical advice. What I'm telling you is that I took every single weapon that they were using against me away from them. That means my mental, emotional, and physical health was priority above everything else. If you wake up in the morning and you can't wait to grab a substance, you can't wait to, you have to take a medication, you're trying to get at something just so you can operate and function during that day, that is something that will 100% be used and weaponized against you. Your autonomy and your freedom is strictly related to how much you depend on their system. The less you depend on it, the less they're able to target you in that fashion. And so it didn't happen overnight. It took several years, probably about 2 years, start to finish, from the time I cleaned up my eating and everything, to be able to be in the position that I am now. So that's one. Take control of every possible thing you have control over, because we don't have a control over a lot of things, but that you do. No more partying, no more, all they need is one drunk night. All they need is one party that you went to where you partook in some illicit drug, and then they target the shit out of you that night, and you end up in the emergency room. You start telling your story, they run a blood panel on you, and then what? You have no credibility whatsoever. Remove any possible bullet that they can throw at you. So the other thing is educate yourself as much as you possibly can. Educate yourself in every single aspect of this program. You're going to find that a lot of resources, and there are a lot of resources, a lot of good resources out there, but they tend to kind of post up in a single camp, like, healthcare 4.0, all the technology that's in there, which is amazing information. The legalistic side, which is militarized, the weaponization of a federal government. That's 100% true. You've got your religious and spiritual side. That has merit to it as well. You've got your getting into the weird. You've got your occult and your esoteric information that's out there. And here's what's dangerous about dismissing something as crazy or woo-woo or whatever, is when you start getting into those realms of why this is happening and what's happening, you have to account for the fact that just because you don't believe it doesn't mean they don't. And these are the people that are funding this technology. These are the investors. These are where the resources come from. This is where a lot of your upper echelon puppeteers believe all those things. So if you don't understand who your enemy is, you are making a fatal mistake. That doesn't mean you have to go along with and believe all of the doctrine and stuff that they're telling you. It just means you need to understand every single possible aspect and finger that is involved in this program. And so to post up in a single narrative, in a single camp of information, is very dangerous, because you're missing a lot of the other ideology that the people that are running these programs are committed to. So educate yourself in every which possible way. That way, when people ask you about this program and you're trying to explain crazy to somebody who thinks you're crazy, you don't sound crazy. You sound intelligent. You sound like you're explaining something that is absolutely crazy. But if you do it in an intelligent way, instead of automatically rejecting your frame of thought, they will start to think and ask questions. They may not believe you right away, or they may question some of the things that you're saying, but you can hold your own when they start questioning it, and you can do it without becoming emotionally triggered. Once you can tell your story and give factual information without being emotionally triggered, you would be surprised the amount of power that you have to change minds and to affect everybody's false reality and let them see what's actually going on. So that's critical right there, is getting yourself to a point where you are physically, mentally, emotionally strong, you are well educated, and you can speak well on the entirety of this program, no matter who you're speaking to. If you're talking to somebody who's freaking out because they think they have demons in their skull, you can speak to it. You can speak to that intelligently. It doesn't mean diminish or dismiss what they're saying. It means give them an answer of how this could be possible. When you're talking to somebody about the weaponization of our federal government, there is so much information out there, and there's so many resources out there that you can refer to. Make sure you know it. When you're talking about the nanotech and the vaccines and all of, the atrocities going on in our environment right now, with the cloud seeding, with the 5G towers, these are all related and connected. So be very well versed in every single angle that you possibly can, and you will be surprised how many people's attention that you can get. So personal responsibility, radical acceptance, and educate yourself and become so grounded and powerful in who you are that it doesn't matter what they do to you. Bring it on.